Does Charles Darwin's theory of evolution make sense? And what is Darwin's black box? And how is it related to the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Bari? If you want to find out the answer to any of these questions, stick with us and hopefully we'll discover with you. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Maruf, and as you may know from this series, every episode we are discovering one name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and today we'll discuss Al-Bari. Al-Bari means from the names of creator, but also someone that evolves, creates creations in a perfect shape over time. So in today's question, I would like to discuss theory of evolution. What do we know about it, and how our response should be as a Muslim? You see, these are the questions I did research on my own personal level. I'm not sure, I'm not scholar, so don't take my word like that. I'm just gonna share my personal opinion, experience, and it's yours to take to decide how you're going to believe. So you see, when growing up, when they used to teach us at school, like this is how we have evolved, all living things, right? They teach it as scientific facts, even though they say theory of evolution, not the facts. But when I was about 10-12 years ago, when I was doing research looking into the theory of evolution, I came across a book by, I think, Michael J. Al-Bāri, I think that's how it's spelled. His book is called Darwin's Black Box. That book was really, really interesting. It opened my eyes to new realities. One of the ideas he introduced in his book is called Irreducible complexity. What it really means is that when he did the analysis of the nature, there are some creations of God's creations that are complex, and there's no way it could be evolved over time, because you see, there are crucial elements in any creation. If one of them is failing, it doesn't work. For example, one of the things he gives example is the clotting of the blood, right? And it has to be designed from the beginning, otherwise whoever gets cut, any animal would die. Like, for example, if you ever get a cut, it just blood clots. It's just one small example. So another example I think he gives in the book is that mousetrap, for example, like we create. In a mousetrap, there's some crucial elements. If you miss any of them, it doesn't catch the mouse, so it doesn't make sense. So he's giving an example that there are some irreducible complex items and designs which cannot be evolved. So in this book, he goes and in detail by detail, he says, while in some smaller shape or form, evolution makes sense, but in a larger scale, it doesn't, because there are a lot of missing gaps or links, as you can imagine. And I think he belongs to the movement. It's called intelligent design. They believe that they don't call it Allah or God, but they say, based on what we see, this designs, there must be an intelligent designer who designed it specifically. Otherwise, there's no way this could have been evolved. And the reason why we are discussing is that, not to question God's and identity, but actually to understand Islam's religion, Islam's stance and Muslim stance on this point, so we become more knowledgeable, so we can address these questions for us, for our kids, for non-Muslims, to understand better. So you see, based on what we believe in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who creates, who fashions, who evolves anything or anybody we know around us, right? And so this is something I would like to discuss today, and I want to share with you, is that discussion around this topic and evolution, etc. If you remember from the previous episode, even you say evolved from nothing, we create last time, there must be still intelligent designer. So you see, in the science community, what I noticed is that since unfortunately they want to somehow, whatever the reason is, they don't want to accept the existence of God. That's why sometimes they go very long at length to believe in some of the things which may not make sense. In the normal world, none of us would believe in any of things like they seem to claim. Like, for example, if I said, I see this phone like lying on the beach, what is the first thing that comes to mind is that somebody must have left it, forgot, or lost, right? You never think it just get there thousands or billions of years down, because there's this signature of design. You can see there's some intelligent agency worked on it to make it work, right? There's all, like, it's so simple to understand. It doesn't have to be complicated more than any. It's a common sense any decent human being would understand. When we look around, so we see so many beautiful things, so many patterns and designs. The only logical and simple explanation is there must be a designer, there must be a creator, there must be an evolver, there, like out of space and time. You don't need like complicated formula, you don't need complicated ideas to do that. While we may not understand how it's created or how it works, even ourselves, right? There's so many unknowns. There are probably millions or even more than millions of types of creation. Majority of it we haven't even discovered yet. So, and then most of them are complex. We don't understand. So for us, until we wait and say we have to understand each of them to make the decision they have evolved, is just to being a bit arrogant on humanity's side. Instead, we should say, look, we can make very simple arguments, deductions, based on what we can see that life is complex, it cannot evolve, or based on the design, like we discussed, the infinite regress, there must be a creator. It's much simpler, just much, it's not, again, it's not a blind faith, it's just like a rational way of looking at the world, trying to understand why instead of just how, because how we may not understand. We are still, science trying to understand the how, but the religion and philosophy asks us questions of why. But I think we ask the why, we understand, as long as we understand the existence of God, and the rest becomes easier, right? So we can live our lives with purpose, so we can understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names, and we get, the more we understand with the yaqeen, and so we begin to appreciate more what we are given. Otherwise, we may just utter these names in Salah and Quran, we may not really ponder upon. I believe that one of the main purposes we are doing this, serious understanding, and especially with the stories, is that we want you to remember the stories. We want you to, whenever you're mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your du'as, we want to mention His name with the more sincerity, with more seriousness, and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and doing our best to come to Him. So that's our intention. Our intention is not to cause, as we call, fitna, and asking this crazy questions out of just for fun, but out of curiosity, to get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Creator, better, so we can serve Him, we can worship Him better, and hopefully we can love Him. And that's our intention. Having said that, if you really I hope you learned something new from this episode. If you did, please share with friends and family so more people can learn about this beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As I also mentioned, we're going through the book 99 Names of Allah. You're more than welcome to check it out. And I will see you in the next episode. And having said that, Assalamu alaikum.